Good evening and welcome to the City of San Marino Design Review Committee meeting. Today is Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. My name is Kevin Chang and I will be chairing this evening's meeting. If you would please stand and join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Staff, can we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Chair. Committee Member Lakon? Committee Member Wong?
Present.
Vice Chair Batnich?
Present.
Chair Chang?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll first go over the procedures for tonight's meeting. Each committee member has received plans and has reviewed every item on the agenda and has visited each site. The general order for hearing each case will be as follows. The committee will ask staff any questions they may have. The chair will then ask the applicant or the applicant's representative to comment on their proposal. The hearing will then be open to the public and the chair will ask for comments for, against, or about the project. In all cases, please come forward and give your name and address. At the conclusion of the public comments, the public hearing will be closed and no further comments from the public will be accepted. The chair will then ask for comments from each of the committee members. If there is no motion for approval or denial, the DRC has the option of continuing the application to a future meeting. In the event of a denial, it is hoped that the applicant will have heard comments during the public comment period and during deliberations that will be useful in resubmitting an application. It is also important for the property owner to understand that once a project is approved by DRC, the drawings become legal documents. If any changes are made to the project subsequent to the approval without obtaining proper approval of those changes, the property owner is in fact breaking the law. There is a risk of having to change the project back to the originally approved design or paying a fine to the City of San Marino equal to the greater of 5% of the project value or $2,500 and then resubmitting the changes made to the project back to the DRC. It is also important to understand that there's a 15-day appeal period after an action has been taken for the applicant or any interested parties to request the planning commission to review or act on a case. After all the agenda items have been heard, 2 design review committee members will conduct an open forum. It is at this time residents and the representatives may ask committee members about current or future projects related to their property. Committee members can discuss the design with you but cannot comment on how they may vote on the project. This time we'll open it to public comment. If there's any members of the public that like to come forward to speak for on items not on the agenda, now would be the time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion and move into our first agenda item. Agenda item number 1, staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair. Item number 1 is 1735 West Drive, DRC case number 18-76. This item was continued from the July 3rd meeting, and the applicant proposes to construct a first and second story addition to an existing 2-story residence. The project is categorically exempt from CEQA, and at the last meeting, the committee had some concerns about the massing of the addition and tree preservation, as well as the overall design of the proposal. Since then, the applicant has provided a tree protection plan and an arborist report as part of their submittal, and the applicant revised the project to eliminate the pop-out feature along the side elevations. However, staff finds that the roof plan is not compatible with the existing structure in that the new 312 roof slope is inconsistent with the existing 612 slope, resulting in a disjointed roof line. So overall, the materials and colors will match existing and the front elevation will remain unchanged. However, staff would recommend approval with the condition that the roof plan exhibit a consistent slope throughout the structure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for staff from committee members? Seeing none, is the applicant present?
Yes, I'm the owner and the examiner is here as well to answer questions. Since the last...
Can you please state your name and address, please?
My name is Paul Wang. I live at 1735 West Drive. I'm the owner.
Thank you very much.
So since the last hearing in July, we have done what the committee requested. We made a tree protection plan that has been reviewed and approved by Ron Servant, the city arborist. He has contacted my arborist via phone. He's initialed the plan with the subsequent follow-up tree documentation, tree preservation plans. In addition, we have eliminated the side elevation facing the west drive. So from the facade, you don't see any pop-out or new addition from the front. Community is also concerned about privacy issues. We facing the south side, We have a bathroom over there. I think it was Committee Member Wong addressed that issue. We have made that window smaller, and we have made all second floor bathroom windows obscured on the drawing, to have obscured windows. Also, we made the deck smaller by 2 feet. I guess Committee Member Wonder had concern about being too close to the tree. We made it from 5 feet to 3 feet. And so it has been smaller. The issue right now lies with the roof plans. The original plan had symmetrical roofs in the front and the back. However, the staff brought up the issue that in order to do that, on our prior submission, we made the total roof elevation higher by almost 2 feet, which was not brought up last time. Staff did not recommend changing the height of the roof. That's why we had to change the roof plan to meet their request. After a subsequent talk with her, we felt that we would revise the roof plan to have a 6/12 pitch throughout. The one that you have is, we didn't have time to revise it because the deadline was too close to when we had. So I have a proposal that is in front of me. If you want to take a look, I'll be glad to show you which we would do if the committee member agrees to it. I'm just going to add 5 copies. This is 1 page each. So we're basically going to we recommend doing a cross gable on all additions to make an even pitch throughout. So the roof will be 6/12 in the front and the back. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to make this one official because of the deadline issue. So from the new proposed roof, the current roof is 6/12 in the front. The proposed roof plan, without changing any other elevations, floor plan height from what you have, it would be double gables, cross gables in the back. And so the roof pitch will be 6/12 throughout the front, back. The height will be the same, floor plan's the same. Basically, the roof plan will change. Issues. That was the only issue that the staff brought up in her report, so I thought that I would try to, get a comment from the committee. But basically, again, we can work with the staff if there's any further issues with the proposed roof plan, but we've done everything that the committee had requested from our last meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions for the applicant from any committee members?
Yes.
Vice Chair?
This is a lot to take in, although I appreciate that you've reacted so quickly to the comments. But for the moment, I'm going to ask a question about the existing plans that are in front of us today.
Yes.
And then
Sure.
maybe we can discuss the new plans. So it is about the roof line. So there seemed to be some kind of like a discrepancy between the plans that we saw last time and the plans that we saw this time. So last time, the plan said that the total height of the structure is currently 23 feet 7 inches and would be increased to 25 feet 3 inches.
Correct.
The new plans that we have this time, on the new set of plans, the total height of the structure is currently listed as 25 feet 10 inches and will remain at that height.
Yes. Okay.
So what
yes.
can you
So
say?
yes. So the original plans, the roof pitch. Okay. So there's higher gable and a lower gable. There's a side structure at the bottom. So the pitch of that is 412. So when we measure that, we assume that the pitch of the big roof is also 412. And by that calculation, the designer got the total height. The height of which is 23.7 or 25.5, I don't remember, 25.3. But this time when there was a roof issue, I hired a roofer to climb up to the second story and measure the actual pitch and slope of the roof from the second floor, right, which is 612. So
Yes.
based on that, and after the calculations.
612, it said 610.
Oh, 612.
You make pitch.
The slope is 612.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah.
So based on that, the actually total height of the existing building is higher than we had initially calculated. Because if the roof slope is higher, yeah. We used the bottom roof to initially measure the upper roof. Is that?
Go ahead.
Is the height of the building, the front of the house, going to be the same?
Yes, it's not
Are you
changing.
taking the roof?
No, from the front, we're not changing the height or the roof line from the front.
So just to clarify, the old height of the building that was listed before was wrong.
Correct.
And you corrected it in the new plans.
Correct.
And you are keeping the same existing height of the building, the same
Correct.
roof from the front will not be removed?
Will not,
changed.
will not.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And that's why the story posts reflect no change from the front.
Okay, the second question I have is, the chimneys in the new plans, not the ones you just
Right,
read,
right,
but
right,
the
right.
existing plans for this week that we were looking at, they look different between the existing east elevations and the proposed east elevation, or all of the elevations actually, they look different. Are you adding to the height of the
No,
chimney?
we're not having the height of the chimney. I think it may be a drawing, I don't know. We don't have actually measurements of the chimney. The roof line goes up to the ridge. We're not touching the chimney at all in any of the projects.
But which is correct, like, because the chimney is part of this design.
Correct.
So
But the measurements never included, the
the
measurement.
chimney height will not change, the roof will not change, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, the roof, I mean, if you see the measurements of 25, 10, it doesn't even go up the chimney, so it touches the roof line. Yeah, so we're not even touching the chimney, we're not touching the height of the existing roof line at all.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll open it to public comment. At this time, public, is anyone here from the public who come to speak for or against or about the project? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion and move on to our committee member discussions. Committee member Wong.
I want to thank the applicant for taking in the comments the committee made last time and being responsive to the suggestions and comments shared with you. So in particular, the tree protection plan and the operator's report addendum are both to be appreciated. And I also appreciate the fact that you dealt with the comment on the window on the south side that would actually allow your neighbors to see who is maybe bathing inside the bathroom, which is not very nice. And when you're bathing, you may enjoy the view outside, but we also, as a committee, look from outside in as well. I understand architect look inside out, so appreciate the balance you seek and the compromise you made, and make the glasses opaque is also well done. And thanks for also clarifying the fact that the roof, the height of the building, the chimney will not touch, original is original, and especially the fact that you are willing to take back in the protruded portion proposed to be done in the last meeting. So based on all the facts presented to us, in my opinion, it is a approvable project in my opinion.
Thank you. Vice Chair Benish.
So my main concern about this project last time was that the part that would be visible from the front of the house that was being added to behind the chimney, that was incompatible with the architecture of the existing house. Since that has been corrected in this application, I don't have, or in this submittal, not what we received today, or we received a few days ago. That eliminated my major concern. I was heartened to read a little more detail about the tree protection plan. And I I'm hopeful that those trees will have a good chance of surviving if those steps are followed in the plan. I also appreciate that you were reacting quickly to the staff comments about the roof pitch. I can live with the plans that were submitted to us today, a few days ago. It is a deviation in the roof pitch and the roof pattern, but you have, I feel it's an acceptable trade-off in this case. It doesn't change the architecture to such a level that it becomes, a different house. I prefer what you had submitted a few days ago to this new proposal with the double gables. I feel that this new proposal, although we're not officially, I think, commenting on that today, for me, I prefer the previous what you submitted officially for us. So for me, I could approve this today, what was submitted.
Thank you. Committee Member Lakon?
Yes, thank you. This is a really nice colonial home, and the front is in the original condition. I looked into the house, and the architect is Harold Bisner, who's designed a lot of beautiful homes in San Marino. The Floor Drive area in the Mission District and some of the large estate homes. I like that you've kept the front the same. There's a couple things in the plans that I didn't notice from the original house, and I don't think you meant to leave them out. I think maybe it was a drawing issue, but I'd like to see that they will stay with the house, and that is the front windows on the first level. You're showing just the two shutters on the outside of the windows. You're showing the shutters with just 2 panels, but your home has 3 panels on the first floor.
Okay.
It goes down to almost as if it's like a French door shutters. And then underneath it, you have kind of a threshold that's made out of red brick. That's very nice, and I was going to ask you to keep that with the house. I didn't know because it's not in the plans. The other thing is the 2 benches in the front on the entryway. Will those be staying?
Yes.
So if they're not indicated on the plans, they'll stay though. And the sunburst in the entry roof. The red brick porch is staying, and the walkway. And I like the new gable roof in the back. I think that'll be fine. I had some questions about the window pattern in the back. I didn't think it was a deal breaker, but I thought that maybe that kitchen window or some of the windows could look more like the front windows. And the sliding glass doors, I understand why you want to use them for space, especially with that tree there, but they were very compatible with the house, but I could do that. I'm also pleased that you have the tree protection plan in place. So I could approve this project if the conditions that the front is going to remain the same, the shutters, the door, the bench, everything else in the tree protection plan is in place.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I echo what my fellow committee members stated. I think the addition is going to be a good addition. I would agree with staff comments specific to the roof pitch and maintaining consistency. I think that'll add to the home rather than detract, and I think that should be a condition of approval. Otherwise, I think it's going to be an improvement for the existing home, and we look forward to seeing the completed project. Do we have a motion?
I would make. I will make a motion. But before I make the motion, I want to clarify that my motion pertains to the plans that were existed before today. So I will make a motion to approve design review case number DRC 18-76 on the conditions that the benches remain the same, that the starburst remains the same, that the details on the facade, the brick details remain the same, and that the shutter pattern, is that the right way?
Exterior
The
shutters.
exterior facade shutters remain the same number of panels, and that they remain the same.
Do we have a second? Seeing there's a lack of second, do we have another motion? Or do we have a second? On that motion, on the motion that was made, do we have a second? So the motion was the conditions of all the elements of the facade, but not the roof pitch. So that's the motion that we have open right now. So do we have a second? Seeing none, do we have another motion?
I propose to approve the design review case number DRC 18-76 as presented to us today.
Do we have any conditions?
Without addition.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Wong,
Yes.
Committee Member Lakon,
Yes or no? Or you can abstain. It's okay.
Yes.
Vice Chair Batnich,
No, and I want to say that I don't think that we should be voting on plans that were submitted to us 5 minutes ago.
Chair Chang,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. We'll move on to our second agenda item for the evening. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair. Item number 2 is located at 1205 Patton Way, DRC case number 19-26. The applicant proposes to construct a street-facing driveway gate in the front yard, and the project is categorically exempt from SEQA. Although staff finds that the proposed gate material and the simple design could be found compatible with the residents, the gate would not be compatible with the subject block. There are no other gates found in the same location on any other properties along Patton Way, and so staff is unable to support the project at this time.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant present? Is the applicant present for 1205 Patton Way? No? So staff, we can continue, even though the applicant's not present.
Correct.
Well, given the lack of the applicant's presence, we will open it to public comment if there's anyone from the public who would like to comment on this project. Seeing none, we'll close with public comment and move to our committee member discussions. Committee member Lakon?
I thought that the actual gate was fine, the style was fine. I understand wanting a gate in that location, seeing that the house is so removed and up higher and you can't see who's entering your property. I cannot approve the location of the gate. I think it sits too close to the street. My concern is that not when the owner necessarily is driving home and idling, but it's when all the people that come to your house, or delivery people, or food delivery, or Ubers, that they're going to be outside waiting for a long time, and they won't be able to just sit up and rest on the driveway. So I would prefer the gate to be back for the convenience of the neighbors.
Thank you. Committee Vice Chair Banish.
I think the gate is, compatible enough with the home to be reasonable, and it's compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. It blends fairly well with the existing pilasters and brick. I did consider the very good point of safety of an idling car waiting for the gate to open, but moving that back a few feet would create a major construction project with the wall and pilasters, and it doesn't seem, it was a tricky situation, but to me it doesn't seem to, that street and that kind of traffic on that street doesn't really seem to warrant, a major construction project. I think that, this is the only reasonable place to put the gate.
Thank you. Committee Member Wong.
This property is located in the slope on Patton Way. So it is under the nuke of the San Marino terrain. The road leading up to this property is at about 45 degree inclination. So when a gate is put in place, the gate is not going to move horizontal. The gate will move tilting uphill 45 degree, and the gate probably would have to be somewhat of a trapezoid shape. But more importantly is that in the entire Patton Way, there is no property that has a gate visible. The area gives visitors, residents a sense of welcoming. I can see, for various reasons, a gate way closer to the house of the property, but have a welcoming driveway up to the house, making the gate not visible. So I don't see putting a gate at the proposed location is compatible to the neighborhood at all. So because of that, and because of the 45-degree inclination of the terrain, as to how the gate would open and close, and how the gate would look, it definitely would not look like a rectangle as drawn. It would not be aesthetically pleasing either. So because of those reasons, I do not see it an approvable case.
Thank you. I agree with Committee Member Wong's comments. I don't think it's going to be compatible with the neighborhood, and I think a complete redesign in a different location would be required. But given that the applicant's not present, we're not going to have that discussion. So I would support a denial of this application. Do we have a motion?
I would motion for a denial of design review case number DRC 19-26.
Member Wong with the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that. I was very persuaded by my fellow committee members' comments and changed my mind.
Vice Chair Banish with the second. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Wong,
Support the denial.
Committee Member Laycock,
Yes.
Vice Chair Batnich,
Yes.
Chair Chang,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our third agenda item for the evening. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair. Item number 3 is located at 1532 Circle Drive, DRC case number 19-64. The applicant proposes to replace existing wood shakes on a residence and detached garage with the Certainteed Presidential Shake TL composition shingle material in the color Solaris Country Gray. The project is categorically exempt from CEQA, and the legal neighborhood consists of traditional style structures with a variety of natural and synthetic roofing materials. Staff finds that the proposed installation of the Certainteed roofing material on the subject property would significantly alter the appearance of the existing structure from public view and would not be a compatible application. The material lacks dimension and texture and would appear too flat on this ranch-style residence, and so staff is unable to support the project at this time.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant present?
Yes, Carl Barnes.
Can you please come forward and state your name and address?
Carl D. Barnes, 1532 Circle Drive,
Great.
San Marino.
Are there anything you want to say about your application, or just leave it to us to ask questions?
I'd like to present it. I don't know how familiar you are, if you don't mind me standing up.
Sure. Can you state your name and address, please?
My name is Peter.
At the podium, please. Thank you.
My name is Peter Lang. I'm a roofing contractor. I'm from out of the area, so my address is in Northridge.
Okay.
So anyways, this is the product. It's a tri-laminate shingle, very thick, 3 layers. And so when you make the comment that it has no depth at all, it has more depth than any other roof in the market, even the other roofs on your diagram there that are allowed in the neighborhood. So I don't necessarily agree with that. It has no depth. It has quite a bit of depth. It has over a good 3/4 of an inch of depth right there.
Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant from committee members?
I have a question. Which color is it that's being proposed?
This whole area here is completely country gray. These 4 pieces here are just samples of 3 other colors in country gray.
Thank you.
So the bottom portion, the whole thing? Besides
It's the whole thing, yeah. I mean, this is the material and the color that,
But not this, not.
that's correct.
Not the top row.
Yeah, not the top row.
So each panel is different color, kind of.
It's variegated in a sense, it bounces around. But this is the color pattern that your committee states on the application for approved roofs, country gray.
Could the one on the right be a little bit more like shadow gray, which is darker in tint?
Well, this one up here is shadow gray, way up here. That's not an approved color by you guys. The country gray is the only color approved.
Are there any other questions for the applicant?
I'm so confused by the pattern, the board, because the ones on the right look much darker than the ones on the left, below.
If you're on the top row, they just happen to be the way they manufacture, they show 4 different colors up there.
Up on top, and then
Yeah.
bottom, it's all country gray.
All bottom is the same, it's a variegated color.
Oh, country gray, the whole thing, okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to come forward and speak for or against about the project? Seeing none, we'll move to committee member discussions. Committee member Lakeman. I'm sorry. Committee member Wong, you had a question for staff?
The staff report said staff is not aware of any property in the city using this roof material. But the presenter said that the certain tint, the person shaped Solaris Country Gray is an approved material and color. Is it correct? Is the material approved material?
So I want to clarify, the color that is on the city's pre-approved roof material list is the country gray. However, the applicant on the application and the one that they circled on the brochure is the Solaris country gray, which is more of a cool roof type of color. So there is a distinction, and I'd like them to clarify which one they're presenting tonight.
Okay, so you're saying Solaris Country Gray is different from Country Gray?
Correct. The Solaris
Can we
is not-
clarify from the applicant, is Solaris Country Gray different than Country Gray?
The color we have here is Solaris that we're presenting, and my understanding was that's a requirement for us to follow those guidelines. Solaris.
No, on the city's pre-approved list, it's just the country gray, not the Solaris.
So in roofing, there's no requirements for Title 24 roofing these days?
The Title 24 compliance has to do with the building divisions. At this point, we're only looking at the material and the appearance. So the Solaris country gray color that you have selected has a reflective element to it in order to meet the cool roof factor that you need for the Title 24. But this committee is only concerned about the appearance.
So if we got the same material without the Solaris, it's the standard country gray, you would be fine with that?
That will be up to the committee.
I'm
If
not
that
sure if
is
they
the
make
case.
it anymore, to be honest, but I think this is the only country gray they provide today.
Okay. Well, we understand what's been presented, and we understand what's on the city's pre-approved list, so we will review accordingly. Committee member Wong?
I drove by the property today, and it's a very nice property. It's a ranch house. I'll say unassuming but full of character. And I appreciate the fact that the applicant is trying to put in, good material, better material to make the house and the environment and the neighborhood, of character and preserving it, which is to be appreciated. My concern is really the tint of the material, and thank you for showing us the pattern, which does explain to me that it is not flat, so that is a good sign. But based on what I see here and from what is presented, it is with a fairly greenish tint, which is different from what is in the roof currently. So I would prefer to see the roof color tone be consistent to what it is now, and new material, as long as it's approved by the city, is fine with me.
All right, Committee member Lakeman?
Just kind of having a hard time with this one.
Would you like to see the samples closer, have him show you up close?
Do you have country gray to show us?
Or
Because country gray is
whatever color
approved.
that you approve, but it's thick, it's triple laminate, am I correct?
Yes.
It's 3,
It's not that.
It is not
It's a quality
the
issue.
structural issue, it is a design
Right.
issue.
And it's the
So-
location, the house.
Just so we're following procedure, so the applicants, we've closed the applicant, your comments, so now it's our discussion. So if we have any specific questions, we may open it back up. Thank you very much. So Committee Member Lakon, your comments, please?
Well, I don't really have a problem with this style of roof. It's the location and putting that in on Circle Drive on the district line in the neighborhood. The house is, it was a contemporary 1952, and it was designed by Smith and Williams, which are very prominent architects. It's a beautiful house, and the roof right now has been, I mean, wood shake, and it's been wood shake, I assume, the whole time. Most of, I mean, all you see from the street is the roof. So I find it hard to approve this. I'm not against the roof. I just like the look of the wood shake. I like the look of like cedar light if we're going to have to use something besides wood. But I'm apprehensive right at this point to change to approve for this material at this moment.
Thank you. Any other? Committee Member Benish, Vice Chair Benish.
I'm not so concerned with the specifics of the color because I have other issues with this. I think this will have a very flat appearance. It may have 3 layers, but it doesn't have the depth that certainly that wood shake has. And I think in this neighborhood, in this street, where these are very traditional homes, the roof pitch is kind of, as my fellow committee member said, it's kind of all you see is the roof from the street. And I just don't think that this is going to look natural on this home. And I can't support this roofing material on this house.
Thank you very much. I have shared similar sentiments with the compatibility of this material on this home in the neighborhood. I don't think it'd be compatible with the neighborhood, so I would not be able to support it. Do we have a motion?
I motion to deny DRC number 1964.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Committee Member Wong,
No.
Committee Member Lakon,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bagnich,
Yes.
Chair Chang,
Yes.
motion carried.
We'll move on to our next agenda item for the evening, agenda item number 4. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair. The property is located at 2520 Ridgeway Road. The applicant is requesting to install a roofing material that is not on the city's pre-approved material list. The proposed material is teal-core steel shake roofing material in the birch color. The committee has previously approved this material in other part of the city, and those addresses are listed on your staff report. Staff is unable to make the compatibility finding for this material to be on this structure because the structure is located at a corner lot. It is a single-story home with a detached garage, and the home is L-shaped, which is highly visible from the street. This material will result in a very unnatural appearance on the building, and staff is unable to support this request. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, is the applicant present?
I'm sorry, I have a quick question for staff. By any chance, was the staff report, was there a mistake on number 1 for the findings of the staff report that the proposed structure is compatible with the neighborhood? The checkbox is yes, but the comments seem to indicate no?
Correct. For item number 1, there is a typo in the staff report that it should read that staff can make this finding, and the answer is no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, applicant present. Please state your name and address.
Robert Lansford, Lansford Roofing. When we keep coming to these meetings, everybody talks about one thing on your list, your summary of the design review standards for the roofs, and that is compatibility with the neighborhood. But that's only one list, one item out of the 8 items on the requirements. Compatibility obviously is opinionated. One homeowner might like it. In fact, I've never had a homeowner that we've done a roof. Other homeowners don't want it on their roof. So that's kind of arbitrary. But the rest of your requirements on here, it certainly meets or exceeds all those requirements. Based on fire, wind, and earthquake, 130 mile an hour wind resistance. It's Class A. You guys keep talking about wood shake, but wood shake is phased out of basically the whole state of California. The latest findings with the fire marshal, this County of Los Angeles, has done in the last 5 years. Fire repairs. This homeowner's roof is approximately 22 years old. She had a wood shake roof last put on it. She's very upset. She was told it was going to last 30 to 50 years. So she wants something that's going to last. She doesn't want concrete tile because 2 of her neighbors have had it, and because of the fading process, there's 5 different colors now on the cedar light 2 houses down. The structural integrity, it's completely walkable. Ability to dispose of rain, it's interlocking, so every course responds to the next, just like wood shake, unlike concrete tile, which is a water shedding membrane, not watertight. Durability, it's been around since the 50s from the bombings in England. That's where it originated from. Quality and cost, the quality is superior to wood shake. It won't curl, won't crack, won't burn. As far as construction material costs, it's cheaper than wood shake, obviously. And then the colors are materials are consistent with the existing building structure, certainly is, with the 2 different browns that they have. So I want to try to get past the beauty contest that everything is scrutinized here and get focused on what is on the list itself. And I think 7 out of the 8 certainly are based on facts, not opinion. So, thank you.
Are there any comments or questions for the applicant? Seeing none, now we'll move into public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to come forward? Please state your name and address.
My name is Michael Johnson. I'm a resident at 1300 Bellhaven Road here in San Marino, and I have spoken on a lot of these tax roofs. I do not get paid. I have no financial interest. I just think it's something this city needs. It's a good roof. Lightweight, this is earthquake country, and fireproof, because we know there are fires in California. Talking to the fire chief, he's indicated that if the conditions were right, we could have a firestorm in the city, and the fire department could not control with wood roofs and so forth. Anyway, I will add that to what Mr. Lansford said, that beauty is as beauty does. That's an old saying. I think it's true that this is better than the others and should be allowed. It's yes, there's a little difference in appearance, but if we've grown up with this on every other house, we start saying, well, that wood shake looks awfully bad, and that tile looks awfully bad, and so forth. So it will fit in. They fit in other places in the neighborhood, and it should fit in here. So I encourage your approval of this roof. I think it's a good thing for San Marino, and it will be much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move to our committee member discussions. Vice Chair Vanish.
Yeah, I have really serious reservations about putting this material on this house. The roof is very visible on this particular house. It has a very prominent roof pitch. The house has a very traditional look. I know that this body has approved this roofing material before, but having driven by several of the houses on this list, on our report, seeing how it looks even on a house without a high roof pitch, I can very confidently say that I believe it will look quite out of place on this home and almost maybe perhaps any other home in San Marino. Certainly many of them. I don't think that we should invite this roof onto this house.
Thank you. Committee Member Lakon?
I agree. I think the house needs something that looks a little more natural. I don't think that this product is compatible because I don't think it has, it needs to come a little further along in its design. It doesn't resemble wood shake. I think it looks unnatural. It looks very thick and heavy. And I would not be able to support this roof on this house.
Thank you. Committee Member Wall?
I also drove by the property, and I agree with my committee members that this is a corner lot that the roof pitch is very visible. And I also visited some of the other houses that is similar roofed, which proposed for this project, and they indeed did not resemble what is the current roof look. And as a result, by putting in such a design would not make the design compatible to the neighborhood.
Thank you. I'll echo the same sentiment. I don't think this product is appropriate for this specific home in a specific location in this specific neighborhood, thus being incompatible. I will recognize the applicant's comments of the various factors we do evaluate with respects to the roofing materials and their performance, their fire performance, their sizing performance, the weight, etc. Those are all, we recognize those are all important considerations. However, the city of San Marino has multiple styles of homes, multiple styles of architecture, and multiple style of roofs. If we were to take an absolute consideration that all things trump the aesthetics, then effectively this material would be on every single roof in the neighborhood. And I'm sure that's what some would like to see, but probably not the majority of the residents or anyone up on this days. So given that, I would not be able to support this particular application at this time. Do we have a motion? I'll move to deny DRC 19-62. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Committee Member Wong,
Yes.
Committee Member Lakon,
Yes?
Vice Chair Batnich,
Yes.
Chair Chang,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. We'll go into our last agenda item for the evening, agenda item number 5.
Thank you, Chair. Agenda item number 5 is design review case number DRC 19-63, located at 2855 Huntington Drive. This is a request to install a material that is not on the city's pre-approved material list. Again, this request is to install teal-core steel shake roofing material in birch color. The home is located along Huntington Drive on the north side of the drive, adjacent nearby the San Marino High School. Staff witnessed that there are various type of roofing material in the immediate neighborhood. Because this home has a lower roof pitch, staff is able to make the finding for compatibility for this material in the birch color to be on the home and the detached garage and still remain compatible with the immediate neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, applicant, please.
There's not much to say on this roof. You can't really see it from the street on Huntington. I mean, there's a giant hedge in front, so.
Are there any questions for the applicant? One question for just, it has never come up, but I wanted to ask it. So with this product, if you were to ever do solar, is it easy?
Compatible.
It's compatible?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Thank you. We'll move to public comment. Are there any members of the public like to come forward? Please come forward, state your name and address.
It's Michael Johnson at 1300 Bellhaven Road, San Marino. Just one other comment. This roof is walkable. It's important. Wood, not so much. Can to some extent, but if it gets to get old, no. Tile, you can break it up. This one you can walk on. You say, well, I don't have to walk on my roof much. If you ever have to have your house tinted, I had mine. They walk all over that roof. So you ought to really consider that. It's a beautiful factor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other members of the public? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to committee member discussions. Committee member Wong?
I agree to the staff report finding that this roof pitch is a lot less visible from the public given this location, as well as the trees and landscapes in front of it. And more importantly, is that it is the properties on Huntington Drive. So when most of the people pass by, they are in fairly decent speed. So, and we don't expect a lot of walkers walking on this part of the Huntington. So with all these combined reasons, I can see this case being supported.
Thank you, Vice Chair Banish.
You know, I appreciate what Committee Member Wong just said, and I have considered those things as well. But I've also considered the fact that, you know, we're not here to pick and choose which neighborhoods are protected architecturally, or which neighborhoods, you know, sort of can use a less natural material or a material that looks less like a quality material. I feel like it's a little bit of a slippery slope. I feel strongly that this roof does not suit many homes in San Marino, and I would still include this home as one of them. It does have a lower roof pitch. It is perhaps less visible. It is, you know, surrounded by you know, greenery that sort of shields it. You know, but that can change tomorrow. That can change easily. So, you know, I just don't think that we should say, well, you know, Huntington Drive, we'll just let it go. So I am still going to say that this is just not appropriate for a traditional home, and I count this one as one of them.
Committee member Lakon.
Yes, I don't want to repeat everything that committee member Manish stated, but I agree. The location isn't necessarily a factor to me. I think that the roofing material just looks very unnatural. It looks very thick, very heavy, and I think that there are other suitable roofing materials available.
Thank you very much. So I would say I don't completely agree with the comments that the last two committee members made to some extent. I think it's been shown and explained in various cases and instances that the material is a quality material in the fact that it does exactly what it's supposed to as a roof. Again, it's the aesthetics that is of the biggest issue, which I myself have raised issue with again before, being that it's monotonous, continuous. It looks like a very artificial, sterile type of product. So I will concede and admit that this product does not look great. I would not bat anything about its quality, however, because I think it outperforms any other materials that has been presented to this committee with respects to concrete, synthetic tiles, or otherwise. And I think we need to consider not only the aesthetics, but also the homeowners that do come forward who want to improve their homes and who want a product that lasts. We, as the Design Review Committee, are to look at how it is in its compatibility with the home, with the neighborhood, and the other factors that are designated within our the Design Review guidelines, which the applicant has made very apparent of what those are, in addition to its aesthetic value. So I would say that in this instance, and this home specifically, I think it is an appropriate home given the location, and it's not necessarily picking and choosing where it's going to be, you know, randomly. I don't think in any assessment of where we've decided to place this material, it's been just a blanket approval or blanket denial. It's been specific to the home, its location, and even in our last case before, that was just before us, it was denied because of its prominence and its location. I believe there's other locations where the product has been installed and has been approved, where the locations have not been as prominent. Now, is that to say that we did not do our job in protecting the city or doing what's best for the city and the community at large? I think that is what we've been tasked with, and I think that's what we've continued to do. So, given specifically, yes, it is on Huntington Drive. Cars going 40 miles per hour will not see it. Cars that stopped will still not see it, with the exception of maybe a 4-foot, 5-foot view if they're looking at that direction. The home specifically sits, I would say 6 or 7 feet above Huntington Drive. So really, it is, if anywhere this product was supposed to be installed, I would say this would be the location, because it's not going to be viewable. The homeowner is going to appreciate it, and I believe the neighbors have not had any issue with it as well, specific to this application. So I would be able to support this, in this instance, on this home, at this location, given its compatibility and performance, not necessarily for its aesthetic value. Do we have a motion?
I motion to approve design review case number DRC 19-63.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Huang,
Yes.
Committee Member Lakon,
No.
Vice Chair Benich,
No.
Chair Chang.
Yes. Vote. Go ahead.
We have a tie.
Motion dies.
Motion dies. Okay.
Do we have another motion? Staff, if for lack of a motion, the case is effectively denied?
Does the committee wants to consider postponing the
When there's a
project
majority?
to the next meeting? Mhm.
If that's an option. But we still have to get a commitment to continue the motion, correct?
Correct. Mhm.
Is there a motion to continue to when there is a full quorum?
Well, we have a quorum.
I mean, sorry, is there a motion to continue to when all committee members are present?
I motion the case to be continued when there's a full
To,
committee present.
to the October meeting?
To the October hearing? And that would be, what date?
October 2nd.
Motion to continue on October 2nd. Is there a second for that motion? I will second for the motion. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Huang,
Yes.
Committee Member Lakon,
No.
Vice Chair Benich,
No.
Chair Chang.
Yes. Is there a recommendation of staff at this instance when there is no ability to reach a motion?
Well, the motion's all been denied.
Right.
If I
Correct.
understand procedure correctly.
Correct. So the committee would effectively deny the project, and the applicant will have the ability to appeal
Yeah.
the decision to the planning commission.
All right. Do we need to have a motion to that effect?
Correct, because the last motion on the floor was to continue, and that failed. So we need a new motion. Correct.
Deny.
To deny, we just have to make a motion to deny it?
Yes, you can make a motion to that.
We can.
And there would still, well,
But I'm not actually making a motion.
is there a motion?
I have never actually been in this situation before. If I understand this correctly, it's not a voted action of the committee to deny the project. It's simply through a fail,
For
through
the
an
lack of a
impasse.
mo- Right, for the lack of a motion.
For a
For
lack
lack
of a
of a
pass or a lack of a deny, clear it.
So,
Would the committee, okay, so that was on the floor, that wouldn't work.
so they made a motion to approve and to continue, but they haven't made a motion to deny, so that has to fail as well.
In order
before
for
it would
us
get-
to
right.
impasse. So administratively, we would need to have
A motion
the
to
last
deny.
motion, option. Mhm.
So we can make a motion tonight.
Okay. You're saying that that procedurally has to happen right now?
Correct, in order for us
And
to
if no
have
one is
it.
willing to do that,
I'm sorry?
if no one is willing to make
Correct. If the last motion to deny the project, we are still at a standstill, a 2-2 vote,
I see.
then
I
administrative
understand.
record will show that we're at an impasse.
Got it, okay. Anyway, I'll move to deny DRC, case, design review case number DRC 19-63, 2855 Huntington Drive.
We have a motion to have a second.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Committee Member Wong,
No.
Committee Member Lakon,
Yes.
Vice Chair Becknich,
Yes.
Chair Chang.
I will abstain from voting.
Okay, so motion carried.
Thank you. All right, is there any other issues for the evening? I think that's the last agenda item. Are there any members of the public for public forum? Seeing none, we will adjourn. Thank you very much.